I'm Summer Morris, CPA, ex-corporate accounting girl and health coach turned CEO of a multi-six-figure business while helping others build financial security, healthier habits, and a better quality of life. It wasn't that long ago I lacked the confidence, the right plan, and time to focus on growing my small but mighty business, while also having time for healthy activities I wanted to pursue away from my desk. Fast forward past many failures and lessons learned, and you'll see the healthier business and lifestyle I have today. One that changes lives while giving me more freedom than I ever thought possible. I created the Fit to Endure podcast to share simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you do the same. So if you're looking to feel better, live a healthier life without blowing your budget, start a side hustle, or train for your next race, this show will help you make an impact and achieve your goals without creating the overwhelm and burnout that makes you want to quit. You ready? Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Fit to Endure podcast. I'm your host, Summer Morris, CPA. Today, we're chatting about a topic that I find is not only the path to success in every area of life, but also the tool that can help us reduce feelings of regret or letting ourselves down. I was thinking about this topic this morning when my alarm went off at 5 a.m. in the morning. Early, right? It was time for me to suit up in my bathing suit and sweatpants, grab a cup of coffee, and head out to the pool for a swim class. When that alarm went off, there were a lot of opportunities or reasons I could justify to say pass on the experience and go back to sleep. I mean, I can't fully extend my left arm yet because of my collarbone injury and how my chest muscles are really tight from being in the sling for a couple months. So I won't be able to keep up with those other faster swimmers, not that I usually can anyway. It's dark and chilly outside. Maybe I could wait a little later in the day when it's sunny and warmer to go for the swim. And swimming on my own instead of the group might feel even more comfortable, again, since I can't swim as fast as the other swimmers. Maybe I should stay home and get some extra work done instead of going to the gym and doing some fitness. You know, taking care of other people and things that I need to do for them instead of what I need to do for myself and my body. Without going into that internal debate, I got up and did what I needed to do to get out the door in time for that swim lesson. And how exactly does this relate to today's topic? Well, my friend, because today we're talking about how to stay consistent. Whether it's your health and fitness, your finances, your personal or professional relationships, or your desire to achieve a big life goal, consistency is the key to success. So let's break this down and understand why consistency is so essential and how we can achieve it. Are you ready? Let's jump in. Let's start with why staying consistent in your actions is so beneficial. When it comes to your personal health and fitness, consistency can help you build habits that become second nature. In the book titled The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, excellent book, by the way, love the book, the author explains the habit loop. In the habit loop, there's three parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. Again, the three parts to the habit loop are the cue, the routine, and the reward. Throughout life, we're going through habit loops. There's a cue, like the alarm going off at 5 a.m. There's the routine, getting myself ready and out the door on time for the swim, jumping in the pool and swimming. And there's the reward, that sense of accomplishment, knowing that I achieved the task I wanted to, which was the swim training for my upcoming triathlon. But sometimes habit loops aren't so beneficial. I can think of a coaching client I had a while back where her cue was coming home from work, dropping her bags at the door, and pouring herself a big glass of wine, then maybe 2 or 3, for the reward of distracting herself from the hard work day. The problem with this habit loop was that she really wanted to lose some excess weight and have more energy in the morning to exercise before work. So working with her as my health coaching client, I helped her to better understand that the cue of coming home from work will always be there. And the desire for the reward of feeling better after the workday will be there too. But her routine, what she does to help herself feel better, well, that's what she has a ton of control over. During our coaching time together, I helped her identify some routines that she could do after work to help herself feel better. And when she found the one that was most aligned with what she wanted in her life, she did that with consistency. That consistency ended up helping her shed over 30 pounds. Yes, 30 pounds while gaining strength and energy, not to mention a few fun friends at her local gym. What's really rad is that the folks at work saw her changes and they were so inspired and motivated, they asked her to help them too. With the help of her employer's human resources department, she was able to get a healthy lunchtime program started to get more people out of their desk chairs and moving during their lunch hours with fitness trainers and yoga teachers that were hired by her work. Question for you. Can you think of a healthy habit that if you consistently maintained it would help you boost your energy level and improve your mental clarity? Now, what's stopping you from having that happen? Let's work on that, okay? Let's do that together. All right, let's switch gears for a moment and chat about the money side of life. Consistently saving and investing can help accumulate wealth over time, regardless of how much debt you have, regardless of how much you make right now. If you consistently save, you will get better and more wealthy. I promise you that. You'll be better prepared for emergencies and can achieve long-term goals like purchasing a home, paying down debt, retiring comfortably, because I believe retirement is a number, not an age. Once you have a certain number, you can retire full-time, part-time, whatever it is, or even start a business. For business or career goals, consistency in work ethic and completing what you said you were going to can ensure progress. This can help build momentum, establish credibility, and systematically achieve targets. Clients, partners, and team members will learn to rely on you and your predictability and reliability. When it comes to relationships, whether you're at work, at home, or at school, let's not forget the importance of staying consistent in our temperament. Now, our temperament is our nature, or how we react to people and situations around us. It's a collection of personality traits that are mostly innate, meaning they're with us mostly since birth, but can also be influenced by family, culture, experiences, and those people we hang out with the most. How we react to situations, treat people, and manage our emotions plays a pivotal role in our personal and professional relationships. When you're interacting with others, do you find your communication or reaction to them is much different from when you're feeling calm and happy versus stressed or anxious or rushed? Do you find that you're pretty chill and easy to work with or be with when things are going your way, but maybe you tend to get a little hot-headed and snappy or say things you regret later when things aren't going as planned? Uh-oh. Staying consistent in your temperament is vital for your personal and professional relationships, because it really sucks when you've put in so much effort to develop a relationship, whatever type of relationship it is, only to have inconsistency destroy the opportunities for a healthy outcome. To maintain consistency in the temperament area, what I like to do is practice yoga and breath work and related meditations so that if I find myself becoming a little more stressed or heated, and you know when you feel that, maybe your heart beats a little harder, your breath becomes a little choppy or constricted in the neck, you know those cues that your body's like, hey, something's off here. How can we step back and realign ourselves, recalibrate our breathing, recalibrate that stress so that we can better regulate the stress and anxiousness and show up in a way that we'd be proud of, not in a way that makes you feel like you did it again. I need to go apologize for that thing I did again. Now, I know I am not a perfect person. If I was, I wouldn't have this healing broken collarbone, 2 failed marriages, I know. But instead, I focus on looking at those things I can unpack, those challenging situations, and reflect on what worked, what didn't work, and what would I do differently. And then work toward incorporating that what I would do differently consistently going forward. Consistency can build trust in personal and professional relationships. When your loved ones and colleagues know they can count on your supportive behavior, the bond can strengthen. And in business, a consistent temperament is synonymous with professionalism. It helps build strong, long-term relationships with colleagues, clients, and stakeholders. It also sets the tone for a stable work environment, encouraging collaboration and respect. I mean, I can think of a job I had, loved the company, by the way, loved the role I had, But my boss, well, she was a little dysregulated, I'll just say. One day she was happy, another day she's shouting at the phone or the people around her. It just became this like fight or flight experience. You didn't know if it was going to be a positive experience going into her office or not. And so in those situations, you might find yourself becoming more guarded, a little more tight, clenched. It just didn't feel good. And so it happened, even though, again, I love that business. I love the role I had. There were so many opportunities for a brighter future and learning opportunities. I walked away because there was that inconsistent person that I was working with, eye to eye, hip to hip, day after day. Now that we have an understanding of the importance of consistency, let's discuss some practical strategies to help stay on track. Tip number 1, focus on your why. Why does this goal or outcome or relationship even matter to you? Why is it important? Knowing your why and remembering it in those tough times could be what you need when you feel like giving up. So focus on your why. And if you're not sure why, maybe take a step back and pause and really dial it in. Why is this important to me? Or am I just in this situation because it's what I've been doing the whole time? So good, right? For example, when it came to getting out of bed at 5 a.m. and taking off for that swim, my why is because I want to show up strong, confident, and ready, even more so than I have in the past, for my next triathlon, which is in April 2025. So yes, you can easily go, oh, you're putting this out in like late September, early October. April's so far away. You could sleep in for several months and still prepare. But my why is that I want to show up strong, confident, and ready for that swim, really power through it. And knowing that in the past, like my first triathlon, when I was there at the start line and ran through my mind all those like, oh, I shoulda, woulda, got up early. I shoulda did those practices that I brushed off. I don't want to do that. So focus on your why, and it could help you propel through whatever resistance you're feeling. Tip number 2, don't take on too many projects at once. Boy, have I done this in the past. Let's stop doing that. Why? Because it's easy to get overwhelmed when juggling multiple projects. Instead, prioritize your tasks and focus on a few key projects at a time. Now, just because we're just focusing on a few key projects, it doesn't mean those other projects that are important to you can't happen. They just don't need to happen right now, all at the same time with a few other ones. Focus on quality over quantity to help you ensure better results and sustained effort. For help with this, I recommend checking out podcast episode number 3, titled 7 Tips to Achieve Your Goals for Good. I'll be sure to link it in the show notes for this episode, which you could find at summermorris.com/29. That's summermorris.com/ and the numbers 29. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 is calendaring and scheduling. Using a calendar is one of the simplest and most effective ways to stay consistent. Schedule your workouts, block out time for bulk preparing meals if you're into that or just starting to. Schedule your project deadlines and the time you're going to work on those projects, as well as any other important task and your relaxation time. Then try to stick to these schedules as much as possible to maintain discipline. Be sure to add time blocks on the calendar for things like travel time to and from particular appointments. Block out buffers so that if something goes over, if a meeting goes over, you haven't filled the workday so much that if something happens, you're like, there's still 2 more hours of work I need to do because that meeting went over or this situation happened. Add some buffer time. It wasn't that long ago, maybe 9 years ago, feels like last week, that I was a hardcore paper calendar person. I just love the paper calendar. I love flipping through the pages. It just felt good. But my friend Janelle told me to try an online calendar like Google Calendar. And honestly, I haven't looked back. What I love about the Google Calendar is that I could set up meetings or appointments and then email my friends or colleagues that are going to be sharing in that experience. And I can include the information, the address of where we're going or where we're meeting, all that good stuff. I also love that you can automatically send out email notifications for reminders for things coming up, like appointments, doctor's appointments, especially those things that we don't do on a day-to-day or week-to-week. When it comes to fitness, the fitness training app that I use also syncs with Google Calendar. So when I open up my Google Calendar, I could see all the time blocks for particular training sessions too. This comes in especially handy when I'm training for a triathlon, because that includes swimming, cycling, running, and some strength training. So being able to see all that stuff on my calendar amongst the work tasks, personal appointments is really helpful to see and access. Am I doing too much? I can assess that much easier by looking at it all on one page on that calendar. When looking at my week, does it look like some days are stacked with so much effort and other days have more free time so I can move things around, move that chunk of time from this day to that day or this task from this day to that day? How can I move things around to smooth the workload, to create less of that feeling of stress and overwhelm? It's possible by looking at your calendar and then just moving some of the pieces around. Also, when calendaring, can you find particular days where you're starting to do the same thing over and over? Maybe Sunday is the day you go to the grocery store and prep some food to eat during the first half of the week, so that if you go to the gym after work on Mondays or Tuesdays, that you have food in the fridge ready to eat instead of coming home hungry and hangry, even worse, that hungry, angry feeling. Let's head over to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is focusing on weaker areas. Often the areas we neglect the most are which ones are weakest. Why? Because it can feel so much better and easier to do the things we love to do or we know we're good at. Such an ego boost, right? Just doing that thing that we know we're good at least in the moment. Whether it's a body part in fitness that requires extra effort, a financial habit that can challenge us to adhere to our boundaries of not overspending or over-restauranting, or a business skill, focusing on improving these areas can make you stronger and more resilient. It might feel uncomfortable in the moment, but our growth happens outside of our comfort zone. When it comes to fitness, sometimes the hardest thing to do is push play on that home workout video or get yourself to the gym in the first place. When I'm having one of those days where I just don't feel like going to the gym, I give myself the 5-minute rule. Now, if you're not feeling it in your workout today, you can modify, make it less intense, or do something a little different. Or you can do what I call that 5-minute rule. If you're not feeling it in your workout today, what if you modified it so it's less intense, or you tell yourself, look, I'm going to go and do it for 5 minutes, whether it's the workout in the living room or you're taking off to the gym or you're going for a walk in the park. Give yourself 5 minutes and tell yourself that, okay, after 5 minutes, if I'm not feeling it and I want to quit, you can. No regrets. But you know what? Oftentimes, I find that when I do the 5-minute rule, I keep going. Somehow you just get that extra burst of energy. The motivation comes, the endorphins happen, and you find yourself, you continue on beyond the 5 minutes. And it feels so good, especially when you leave from wherever you are. You end on that workout video and you're like, oh, this was the best. Because I can often find that if you give yourself 5 minutes to get into it, you'll keep going. And sometimes you'll say, you know what? I'm done, and head home. And that's okay, but at least you tried. But I believe that if you give the 5-minute rule a try, more often than not, you're going to stick with it way beyond 5 minutes. And what's so exciting is when you're feeling like, I don't want to do it, I'll just do the 5-minute rule, and you keep going, that you have that sense of accomplishment of like, you did it. And I find it's those elements of where you're like, I don't feel like it, but I did it anyway, and it feels good. Those moments make it that much easier to continue on with that consistency when you're not feeling it in the future, because you're like, you know what? There was that time last week or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago where I wasn't feeling it. I did the 5-minute rule. I stayed for 20 or 30 minutes and I felt great after. This could be like that day. Why not try it? Now I'm going to share tip number 5 with you after this brief commercial break. Unleash your inner CEO with Summer Morris CPA and the Fit to Endure Academy. Are you a small business owner struggling to make ends meet? You're not alone, my friend. Did you know that 60% of small businesses are either not making money or barely managing to cover their costs? Well, don't worry. Help is here. I am Summer Morris CPA, a strategic financial expert and QuickBooks Online coach dedicated to turning financial worries into success stories. I've been helping entrepreneurs since I opened up my shop in 2014 after leaving corporate accounting for decades. And I've been improving profitability through smarter money management financial literacy, and accountability. And I am excited to announce the launch of the Fit to Endure FTE online membership, your ultimate resource for financial growth and scaling your business. It opens October 2nd. Join the waitlist at summermorris.com/FTE and be the first to gain access to exclusive resources. By joining FTE, you'll join a supportive community where you can learn, grow your business, and easily navigate challenges. How does that sound? And each week, I'm going to be guiding you through curated training sessions and live Q&A, covering essentials from understanding financial statements to simplifying income taxes. How would you like the opportunity to interact with a CPA regarding your pressing issues each week for only $100 a month? That's right, $100. Each week, we're going to be covering topics live in Zoom and recorded for later viewing if you're not able to attend live, on topics such as understanding financial statements, exploring QuickBooks Online and bookkeeping, simplifying taxes, and designing your business roadmap for success. Now, those sessions are going to run from 10 a.m. to 11:30 Pacific time. And again, they are recorded for later viewing. So don't worry if you can't make it live. You're going to be able to submit your questions and get them answered. So if you'd like to learn more and sign up for the waitlist, you can check it out at summermorris.com/FTE. That's Fit to Endure. Once again, summermorris.com/FTE. I'll see you inside. Welcome back. All right. Tip number 5, focus on showing up as your best self. I wanted to make this tip number 1 because it's my favorite, at least the one that I keep focusing on, really honing in, rework. Yes. Tip number 5, focusing on showing up as your best self. Now, if you're training for a race or a sporting event, or even an exam at school or work, instead of focusing on how am I going to get through the whatever that event is, what if you instead focus on what training or studying you need to do to prepare yourself to show up for your best at the start? Then allow your experience during the actual event or race or exam to be the celebration of all the training and practice and dedication you've put in to get into that start line. So good, right? Now, if you're looking to improve your personal or professional relationships, then reflecting on what it would be like to show up as your best self as if you've already achieved whatever you're hoping for. If you're looking to improve your personal or professional relationships, then perhaps reflecting on what it would look like to show up as if you've already achieved what you're hoping for. For example, if you're desiring a promotion at work, how would you show up if you already had achieved that promotion? Would you dress differently, or would you show up with more poise and confidence? Perhaps stand with your spine a little taller. How would you engage with the people you worked with? If you desired a healthier, more supportive relationship, how would you show up if you've already achieved that? And what's stopping you from behaving that way right now? Regardless of how the other person is behaving, how can you show up in honor of yourself and demonstrate who you want to be as that more vibrant, positive person in the relationship? Why not focus on showing up as your best self and see what comes with it? Tip number 6. If you think, oh, tip number 4, that 5-minute rule makes it so easy to opt out, think again, my friends, because tip number 6 has your back. Tip number 6 is make it non-negotiable. How can you make it non-negotiable? This means that if your plan is to get up early and do a workout or training before popping in the shower and starting your workday, how can you make it so it's non-negotiable that you get up and do it? Maybe that means having your coffee pot ready so you could just hit the on button, having your clothes laid out for the workout or training. I've heard some people even sleep in their workout clothes, so then they have no excuse. Then having your gym bag dialed in with your workday clothes so you can just grab it and go. What can you do to make the next step toward achieving your desired outcome non-negotiable? And what's stopping you from doing that? I know you can do it. And there's a reason why tip number 6, make it non-negotiable, is after the tip about showing up as your best self. Sometimes when we're feeling bratty or slighted, it can be that much easier for us to slip into the blame game or the victim role. But this is your life, and it does not have to be a reaction to how other people are being or doing or behaving. How do you want to show up in your life? And how can you make that non-negotiable? If someone else is having a meltdown or anger city, whatever's going on, how do you not allow yourself to get sucked into it and instead show up and be the best version of you? That's where some of those healthy boundaries come into play. Tip number 7, stress relieving techniques. Now, this is a topic I personally like to journal about. Do you have a journal? Stress is a major culprit in derailing consistency. So incorporating stress relieving or stress resilience techniques such as meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises, or even simple hobbies can be super helpful. Taking regular breaks can also prevent burnout and keep you consistent in your activities. I love it. I love when I roll out the yoga mat and I'm feeling like I don't have time for this. I should go do something else. And I do the 5-minute rule, stick around for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then roll out the mat and go, I feel like such a better person right now. I feel like I can really help support other people so much more than before I rolled out that mat. So give it a try. If there's something that you're like, oh, I'm feeling stressed, I don't have time for it. I remember hearing that quote or that saying, something along the lines of, if you don't have 5 minutes to meditate, then take 2 hours. Something like that, that when there's something that we really need to do to better regulate our stress and our emotions, and we think, I just can't right now, I have to do 1,800 other things at once, then maybe this is exactly when we need to hit pause, turn the phone on Do Not Disturb, and take 5 minutes for the Calm app. Take 5 minutes to roll out the yoga mat, do some deep breathing exercises, go for a walk away from the desk. Whatever it is that can help you show up for your even better self, because the better you can show up in your best version, the better other people can too. And the more you can help support those around you that are also feeling stressed and anxious. Tip number 8, make it automatic. Tip number 8 is the last tip, I promise, of the day. I can keep going on and on and on. I know, so many words. But tip number 8 is the final one, and it's make it automatic. Did you know that if you consistently set aside $20 per week in a savings account, after 1 year, you'll have over $1,000? Can you imagine what you do with an extra $1,000? Whew. Yes, $20 per week set aside equals an extra $1,000. The same goes if you consistently pay an extra $20 per week toward a debt. After 1 year, you'll have an extra $1,000 paid toward that debt. Rad! Can you set up an automatic payment plan through your bank or credit card or loan account online to make those payments happen automatically without you having to do anything? Check it out. It's so good to do. I promise you, when you see that extra $1,000 in the bank, oh, it's delightful. Finally, staying consistent over time requires a long-term mindset. Understanding that results don't happen overnight is important and does require some patience in trusting the process. So be sure to celebrate the small wins. No matter how small, celebrate them. If you go to the gym and you do the 5-minute rule and you're like, peace out after 5 minutes, I'm done. Celebrate the fact that you accomplished getting to the gym and doing those 5 minutes. That's a big deal. Then track your progress regularly and adjust your strategies as needed. To wrap up today's episode, it's important to remember that consistency is the key to achieving your goals and maintaining your overall well-being. From health and fitness to relationships and business, staying consistent fosters growth, stability, and success. Be sure to focus on progress, not perfection. And remember that when we're interacting with other people and looking to stay consistent in our behaviors, because we can't control other people, we need to focus on our behaviors, that we are imperfect human beings having relationships and conversations with other imperfect people. So if you're feeling heated, rushed, or stressed, implementing those stress relieving or stress resilience techniques, calendaring, prioritizing tasks, not taking on too much that can create that overwhelm and burnout, focusing on weaker areas can significantly enhance your ability to stay consistent over time. Now, I thank you for tuning into this episode 29 of the Fit to Endure podcast. Remember, consistency is not about perfection. It's about making steady progress. And if you found this episode helpful, please click subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone you feel could benefit from these tips. Until next time, stay fit, stay focused, and let's keep enduring. Bye-bye for now. Namaste.